What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Rams Brothers. I'm your host, Dean, and I'm joined, as always, by my brother and the other great host of this show, Nick. And Nick, it's Mock Draft Monday. I think we're ready for draft season to officially start, 17 days away. But first and most importantly, how are you?
I'm good. I haven't done a mock draft outside of one conducted for fantasy reasons, so this should be fun.
I think we're going
Looking forward
to
to it.
we're going to learn a lot today. I think we're going to dive into obviously the Rams have met with 35 total prospects at this point that we know of. So I think we have a pretty good baseline in terms of the pulse in the direction they're going towards, how many players in certain position groups they've met with. I think it's a pretty clear indication in terms of which position groups need priority and need a little extra tender love and care, I guess we can call it, which they will eventually address in the draft. But Nick, the breaking news over the weekend was Odell Beckham Jr. signed a 1-year, $18 million deal with the Baltimore Ravens. Was there any kind of heartbreak with you when you heard about the news, or was it just kind of business as usual, considering how much time has elapsed?
Business as usual. I really didn't see him coming back. It would have been great to potentially have that in the back pocket, but I think he does not see the Rams as a team that can win right now. If you're a Ravens fan, you got to be stoked because not only is this OBJ news, but Lamar's not going to go anywhere if he, helped recruit OBJ. So that would be really bizarre.
You would
So
think not.
yeah, good for him. Good for the Ravens. Keep Lamar in the AFC. Keep the NFC kind of bewildered. So I was fine with it personally.
Yeah, I think a lot of Rams fans were looking ahead to 2024, right? The potential is can you come back? If the money's right in a new situation, could we get you a long-term deal, maybe a 2-3 year multi-year deal to where he comes back to Los Angeles? He was kicking the tires with the Giants. He was kicking the tires again with the Cleveland Browns, obviously with the Jets, I think was the other top team in contention in terms of who was going to sign him. So you never know. It could be another opportunity for Odell to come back and join the Rams, I think, in 24, if the money is right. I think, though, for the purposes of this season, $18 million, $15 million guaranteed, and $3 million in incentives. I don't know who could have topped that. So I think he got the best possible deal on the market.
Yeah. To me, it feels like I want the sweepstakes with him to be finished.
Yeah.
It is definitely, you know, not pessimistic to think that there's a chance he can come back, but I would say it's, out of all the teams, it would be weird to see him come back to Los Angeles the following year. I mean, he feels like he just kind of wants to bop around and be on like a hot new team every year at this point.
It kind of does. It really kind of does. Yeah, next year you could see him in Kansas City. I
Yeah.
know we wanted to follow Aaron Rodgers. Maybe he ends up in New York to play with the Jets. Who knows? All right, so mock draft stuff. So the draft we said is 17 days away, Nick. So I was looking at the mock draft, and I think that the best tool you could possibly use right now is the PFF mock draft. A couple different criteria that you could set. It's kind of a sliding scale in terms of PFF big board, positional needs. There's all these levers and stuff that you could pull to make sure that it's, I guess, as accurate as you want it to be. But since it is mock draft Monday, I was just kind of evaluating the Rams' draft picks and pick number, there's round number 2. So they have 30 or 36. They have round number 3, 69, round number 3, 77, round number 4 is non-existent. And then 3 fifth round picks, 6th round picks, and 2 7th round picks. So in reality, it's a little bit spaced out. I noticed that the pick from 77 to 167 is roughly a 90 pick gap. So I was thinking to myself, how could we get back into the top 100? I know the Rams like to prioritize those top 100 picks. The Niners actually have 99, 101, and 102. So my thought process was, how could I get a little pesky? How could I be a little spiteful in this situation? I wanted 98. I want pick 98. Right. So it'll do 2 things, right? It'll even out my situation as I'm progressing through round 3 into round 4, puts me back into round 4, and I can potentially move some stuff around. Right. So that's my thought process is I want to be able to leapfrog and get right in front of San Francisco before they're able to make their first pick. So in doing so, what I did was I looked at Cleveland. Cleveland had the 98th pick. So in evening out my draft, I want to get as many top 100 picks as possible, which is what I'm showing here. We got 4 top 100 picks in this scenario. If I traded the last pick in the draft, which was 251, and a third rounder in 2025, that's what I would get in return. I would get that 98th pick,
98, yeah.
and then I could swap 2025 fourth, and then I could swap that fourth with a third round, and that's one scenario. The other scenario that I could do is I could have gotten the 98th pick by trading Tyler Higbee. Would have just been straight up 98th pick for Tyler Higbee. He's going to be playing in the final year of his deal in this upcoming season. Potentially shop him around for a better offer, but that's another way that I could have gotten into that fourth round and gotten that 98th pick. So you guys tell us in the comments, which of those two deals would you like better? If we shuffled around this season, then swapped a 2025 fourth with a third for the Browns to get this 98th pick, we only get rid of the last pick in the draft, or would you rather straight up trade Tyler Higbee for the 98th pick in the draft to get the draft started? Nick, your answer.
I mean, I think it's going to depend on if one of their guys that they're looking at, like a Darnell Washington, is there in that situation. I think they're over Tyler Higbee, and I think most fans would kind of agree with them, pushing him out for the 98th pick. I like that idea.
It's something, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
especially as fans too, because that's going to be a long, like if you're sitting and actually watching the draft, that is going to be a long time when nothing really happens. And a lot of it would be, 49ers stuff, which is even worse.
Yeah. So, and this is what it would look like. So we'd give up our last pick. It's 251 round 7. We give up our third rounder in 2025. We get back the 98th pick. We swap the 2025 picks for the third and the fourth round. So it's not a terrible trade. And then the other scenario, like I mentioned, is just getting rid of Tyler Higbee. So I think my thought process was twofold. I want to separate that or bridge that gap a little bit more, and also try to leapfrog in front of San Francisco and make a pick that may be a player that they highly covet. Maybe it's a player that the Rams, they want to, try to fill their top 100. They want to try to get another edge rusher. They want to try to get another offensive tackle, whatever that may be, right? So in putting that together, Nick, you tell me, do you want to see a couple of the mock drafts that you and I put our heads together and compiled previous to the episode, or you just want to go crazy and do a live mock draft right now?
No, I think we put a lot of time into the ones previously. I think it would be cool and if we have time and we want to do it the other way as well. But yeah, let's show the people what we have in the chamber.
All right, so taking in this trade situation into consideration, so we took FAU at the top. Felix Anudike-Uzomah. He's the top guy on our draft board. I think from an edge perspective, if that's going to be somebody that you look at from a position, you're going to get FAU, you're going to get Adetomiwa Adebawore at the top, you're going to get BJ Ojulari, you're going to get Will McDonald. One of those four guys is going to fall into the position that you want him to fall in. So that's kind of the situation that I looked at here, was like, who was the best amongst those four players that's going to fall into that position? And that's how we landed on FAU. The next pick, which is the third round, the 69th overall pick, Nick, I think you're doing backflips if this happens. Keely Ringo.
I think he may even get drafted higher than where
he certainly will. He certainly will.
Yeah. So that's why. I think that's why you got the grade A. But yeah, if we can get Ringo there, just kind of Jalen Ramsey too, as you and I have kind of been calling him. That would be phenomenal. I think those two players can make an impact immediately next year.
It's also an astronomically high expectation for him to come in and be Jalen Ramsey. But again, if he falls, there's some conversation that happens behind the scenes where he's not high priority on a lot of teams' big boards. Maybe he falls into the third round somehow, but I couldn't see him going any lower than FAU. I would see if he falls to 36, or if he falls to 69, it's an absolute blessing. And I did a couple of these versions. So like you see in another version, Darnell Washington fell to 69. So I was like looking within this draft board and I'm thinking to myself, these are like 3 or 4 of our top 7 or 8 guys that are just falling into the third round, 69th overall. Do I think that's realistic? Probably not. But do I think that my expectations are a little bit higher, considering I think PFF is pretty accurate and we use the setting that was more accustomed to their big board, which I think is more accurate to what the NFL would do versus just fans. I'm pretty optimistic. So after Ringo, Nick, within this hypothetical mock, we went round 3, 77 Tucker Kraft out of South Dakota State. A lot of really good comparisons. He's got plenty of size. He can play in line. I've just been kind of impressed in the evaluation process with him. He's not one of the guys that I think is within that top 3 conversation. Those guys will all be off the board at this point. You want to find the guy within tier 2 that is going to be somebody that you could, automatically replace with Tyler Higbee. If Higbee's gone, you want somebody that's kind of a carbon copy, maybe a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, that can play in line, can block a little bit better. And that could be the potential player that you're getting in Tucker Kraft, along with, I think, more upside to be a better receiver than Tyler Higbee.
Well, I was going to say, if you make that, if you make that in that place, then you can really start talking about Higbee's future, and you can start making the phone call to Cleveland and be like, hey, we kind of have a couple tight ends that are a little younger, and we're done this deal with Higbee, and he was great in the Super Bowl and blah blah blah, even though he didn't play. But maybe Cleveland doesn't know that.
No, but I mean, there's a decent amount of tight ends. It's the same kind of way that the edges are built up at the top, right? Like you're going to get maybe like 3 or 4 guys kind of go within the top 35 picks. And then you're going to have that 1 or 2 guys that we really like that's high on our draft board that could fall. Same situation with Tucker Kraft, right? He's within that top 4 or 5 conversation. He falls into the 3rd round. That would be a great situation for the Rams, who are inevitably going to move on from Tyler Higbee when that contract is expired at the end of the season. So, and then I'm looking to replace another guy who we talked about with Jordan, who could potentially be on the chopping block after that June 1st date. And that's Brian Allen. And his replacement, 3rd round pick, 98th overall, Juice Shrugs. The Los Angeles Rams select Juice Shrugs. And guess what grade I got for that pick? Guess what grade?
B- or D+. Sorry.
D+. You might as well give me an F+.
You barely passed.
I mean, you're kidding me with that grade. I think Juice Shrugs is a unanimous replacement to come in for Brian Allen. He's somebody that the fan base would automatically love. It's kind of that replacement pick for Creed Humphrey, the redemption pick. He's got the name. He's got everything about him that I feel like could be a valuable asset to the Rams' offensive line over the next 4 seasons. Hey, we like the Northeast kids. We like the kids from Penn State. They're familiar with us, right? So that's kind of the I think it's synonymous with, you want somebody that's tough, that's hard-nosed, that can fill the role of a center. I know Sean McVay, whenever he talks about Brian Allen, he calls him an asshole. Sure, that's just the way that he does it. He likes to talk about how he's mean, he's tough, he's the guy you don't want to play against. And that, to me, is what Juice Shrugs is in the 3rd round with the 98th pick overall. And then this is where I feel like the trade really kind of kicks in, right? Because those are your 4 top 100 picks. You go FAU, Keely Ringo, Tyler Kraft, Juice Shrugs, and you're kind of jumpstarting the new idea of building a brand new core. From there, it's a little bit of a wild card, right? And I think what Les Snead could do is potentially trade out as like 171, 177, I think 167 are all compensatory picks, right? So they're kind of freebies. So it would make sense maybe a package 177 and 182 and try to jump into like early round 5, late round 4, closer to maybe like 120 or 130, so that you're appropriately spacing out the draft and you're not log jam there at the bottom, right? But then you can go Jackson Kirkland, guard from Washington. That's a B+ grade. Israel Anibakanda. That's a player that the Rams have already met with. It's a running back from Pitt that Aaron Donner's familiar with, that Kalai Kancey knows well and loves. Then you go Jared Patterson, 3rd straight year that they draft a Notre Dame player. This would go Benny Skoranek, Kyron Williams, Jared Patterson, overall B grade, round 5, 177. And then Nick, the backup quarterback of the future. It's Aiden O'Connell. It's a guy that we previewed. We confirmed with Jim Everett there was no Purdue connection with a 37-year gap. But he's the kind of player that I think is a legitimate backup. He's about maybe 1-2 steps above what John Wolford is right now. And I think it's somebody that has much more of an upside, more potential to be able to develop into a true backup quarterback one day.
Yeah.
Is he a bona fide starter? No. He needs grooming. But in the right system, he could be successful. And that's probably why you get a C- grade. This wasn't my best draft. But then look at the last 3 picks. You go Ryan Hayes. It's extra support for somebody like Joe Noteboom, for Rob Havenstein, who was a little bit banged up last year, ended up playing all 17 games, but I think he had a couple of surgeries. He had to clean out his knee. I think he banged up his ankle. So it's just, I mean, going on year 8, year 9 of his NFL career, you got to look for some stability, some depth at the tackle position behind those two pillars. And I think that's what you could find in somebody late, round 6, 189, in Ryan Hayes. MJ Anderson as an edge rusher, 191, round 6 from Iowa State, good player. And then you go Jake Bobo, somebody that we're familiar with, round 7, 223, for an overall draft grade of B+, which
Yeah,
is
I mean,
probably better than what the Rams have gotten in the last couple of years.
Bobo's great because it's somebody that kind of went out of their way to put themselves on a better team their final year and kind of stand out. But do you really think the Rams are going to get the last pick that they have possible to draft a weapon that's not a tight end? I just don't know. This is ideal for what we've been talking about. You start with defense, then you kind of fill some holes, offensive
Too much
line,
logic, you're
tight
saying?
end.
Yeah.
Get a backup quarterback in there, and then finish strong with a potential like fun piece like a special teams guy. I worry that this is not how it's going to look at all.
It probably won't. I mean, in all honesty, that's the purpose of a mock. It's not going to look exactly like this whatsoever. None of these players could end up on the roster, but over 65% of them have already met with the Rams. A lot of these players feel like there's a good likelihood they fill a positional need. A lot of these picks were best player available, in my opinion. So I'm going to show you another mock because a lot of the top, if I can get Keely Ringo 69 consistently, I'm happy with that. There were a couple mocks where I got Keely Ringo at 69 and I got Derek Hall at 77 consistently. It's like when Dmitry Petrovic is just sitting on the bench in backyard baseball. Like I'm taking him. He hits bombs. Dude,
what a name drop.
He hits bombs. You can't forget it. If you want to pick him 5th, 6th round, doesn't matter. He's going to hit you a bomb late in the game.
More of a Keisha Thompson man myself, but
Keisha Thompson also hits bombs.
Yeah.
Bombs.
She's probably drafted too early. She's getting picked up too early for the Rams.
I take her interior defensive lineman right next to Aaron Donald. She's tough. She's Kalijah Cansey. But this was another really good, I think, a strong foundational top 4 in terms of having those 4 picks in the top 100. I think that makes a lot of sense theoretically for the Rams if they're going to accept this gap of 98 all the way to 167. And that's with me closing the gap, right? That's where I traded up to get 98. We were originally at 77 all the way down to 167, right? So that's a 90. There's no comfort in just sitting around in the draft for that long period of time. The whole draft board gets shuffled up, and it's a lot of work that you got to do when you inevitably make that 167 pick. But at the top, Osiris Torrance. Like, this is a guy that we are very, very highly coveted across the board for Rams fans. This would be a guard that you could plug in immediately. It's Logan Bruss insurance. It's AJ Akuri insurance. It's Joe Noteboom insurance if he shifts over. It's Coleman Shelton insurance. I guess for that reason, it also makes sense to not potentially take a guard at the top of the draft because there are so many players on the depth chart. But that doesn't mean that they're good players. I think that's the problem. You can go all the way through the depth chart because there's 12. It doesn't mean that you have to continuously go through this process, finding players in the 7th round, finding undrafted guys, finding late free agents that are late back into their career that hardly cost you any money. Like, that's not the formula. That's not sustainable to build a roster into the future to protect a quarterback who's been in the league for 12 years already. So
I think they know that.
I want to get it. I want to
look at the depth. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead. No, go ahead. You're good.
No, I was just saying that I think that they know that, and they see the depth chart now more as like less of like a template of like who they're going to have, and more like, okay, well, there are obvious holes kind of throughout the entire roster. So it's more like best player available. And we talked about this: 151 career pass sets, 0 sacks allowed, 1 pressure allowed. So if you're going to bring him in immediately, I think he's probably likely a starter for like 10 or so years into the future. So I'm a big fan of Osiris. And look, Right afterwards, you still got Ringo somehow. Ringo just makes his way on every one of these boards.
Yeah, that's the thing with Osiris, though. It's like, can you plug in and guarantee that somebody's going to be a starter for 10 years? I think if you can guarantee that amongst everybody that's on your list here, everybody that you've drafted, doesn't matter what position they play. If they're a bona fide starter at any position, considering how many positions are of need, it makes sense to take that player. And that's where Osiris fits in. And then you go Osiris and you go Keely Ringo, Derek Hall, backflips. You and I, pants off backflips. It's a really good situation to be in. And then you go Jaquel and Roy, and you bolster up the interior defensive line. You give Aaron Donald 2 pieces of support in back-to-back picks. That, to me, gets Rams fans excited.
Yeah, I agree.
So
that would be, which one were you more excited over? The last one or this one?
I don't know.
My Rams mock draft.
Yeah, I don't know. If I go back, so if I look at FAU and Keely Ringo, and then I also got Derek Hall in this draft and Osiris. I'm leaning towards this one. This one actually gave me the better grade at A-. I also got Payne Durham in round 6, 189. I got Antonio Mafi at guard as extra support in case Osiris doesn't pan out. I got O'Shawn Mathis. I got Jake Haener, potential backup quarterback for the Rams. Could be. That's somebody that I feel like has more potential to be a starter over Aiden O'Connell, maybe even over Jaron Hall. And then I also got Israel Anabaconda there. So I don't know. I think an A- grade is good, but I think a majority of the reason why this grade is so good is because we executed on those first 4 picks within the top 100.
Yeah, and I think this draft board likes Fresno State Jake a lot more. By their rankings. I still don't like getting a quarterback that high, but high. I mean, in retrospect, it's not high in the draft, but
it's the 5th
based
round
on our picks.
Yeah, no, I mean, within that round, if you're looking for a quarterback, you can get Stenson Bennett, you get Jake Haener, you get Aiden O'Connell, Jaron Hall looks like he could follow a little bit further down in the draft. So, it's going to be kind of dicey to choose a quarterback that late in the draft. It always kind of is, but it's a matter of who you feel like has the most upside. And I feel like there's plenty of it when you look at quarterbacks later on in this draft. It's similar to the cornerback position, and I think edge, honestly, where there's enough talent later on where you could hit on somebody and find your next piece. So that was the hypothetical trade. This is the draft analysis, Nick. So if you look on PFF, it shows where a majority of Rams fans have selected. So it shows BJ Ojulari is the top pick so far from LSU, edge rusher. So this is edge rusher, and then DeJuan Jones is a tackle, FAU edge rusher, Will McDonald edge rusher, Emmanuel Forbes cornerback, and then Jahmyr Gibbs running back. What would you do if the Rams picked a running back at 36 overall?
Scream. Just rage. My eyes would see red, and I would rage out and probably punch a wall. No, I wouldn't do that. But I would be really upset.
If it was Bijan Robinson, would you be upset?
If it was the next Todd Gurley, I'd be upset. There are so many more gaping holes on this team that if you're going to go out there and draft a running back, I feel like you're just ignoring everything and being like, yeah, let's have some McVay fun, which still worries me that they're going to go out there and do something like that.
You don't actually mean that, right? Like, if we did get the next Todd Gurley, you definitely want him?
Of course I do. But I just not in this draft are you getting the next Todd Gurley.
Yeah, no, and he could go as early as 10. He can go 10 overall to the Eagles for all we know. He can go same spot that Gurley went for the Rams way back when, 2014, 15. So I think we're at the point in the show where we could do a live mock draft. And I think the picks should be consensus. We agreed upon them. We're both in the draft room. We're in the war zone trying to make decisions. We're bashing heads. It's McVay and Les Snead. Who would you rather be, Nick? Would you rather be Les or Sean?
Les. Les has way more pressure, in my opinion.
You're going to be Les. All right. Let's call it Nick is Les. I'll be Sean. All right. I'll try to talk as fast as I possibly can. All right. Mock draft. Let me pull this up. Nick, I'm probably going to try to sell you on everything the same way that I believe Sean McVay does to Les Snead, while Les Snead sits back and chews tobacco or has a beer. I don't know. All right.
As
Here we
long as I
go.
get the perks of having a Malibu home, I'm in.
As long as you get the perks of drafting Osiris Torrance with your first pick in the second round. So you guys can see who's available. So Mozzie Smith, interior defensive lineman from Michigan, Osiris Torrance, Tanner McKee from Stanford, Dion Henley, linebacker from Washington State, Cam Smith, cornerback, Adetomiwa Adebawore, edge from Northwestern. Nick, how good am I at saying his name? Tuli Talapolo. See, there we go. Tuli Tuipalauti from USC is there. I'll butcher that one every single time, 10 times out of 10. So this is kind of what we're looking at, Nick. My pick, I've been going back and forth between Osiris and Adetomiwa, but I'll let you choose.
I mean, to me, the answer is Osiris.
You're going to go Osiris. You're going to support me, Sean McVay, in my never-ending quest to bolster up the offense? Or would you rather give Aaron Donald some friends?
You know what? I think I'm going to take my pick back. I'm going to go back. How much time is on the clock? I don't want to get anybody.
We have plenty of time. Plenty of time. But I'll give you a minute to think it over.
Okay.
Tops. You have 10 seconds.
Okay.
If I'm Sean, I'm pressuring you here.
I'll take Tanner McKee, quarterback, Stanford. Final
no,
answer.
You can't. I won't allow it. I have too much faith in Matthew.
Yeah,
we're going Adetomiwa.
Yeah. If we're going by everything that I've been saying, and I kind of got a little swept off my feet by the thought of Osiris, but Adetomiwa, I think, is the right answer. And to keep Aaron Donald happy, that's me, general manager Les Snead, picking right
there. Adetomiwa was selected with the 36th pick in the second round. So now the Rams are
Ringo's on the board. We're taking Ringo.
Ringo's on the board, but there's also Darnell Washington, Nick. Now we supported your choosing of friends for Aaron Donald with Adetomiwa. He's going to be 3 tech. He could be an edge rusher. He could be anything. He runs a 4.5 as an edge rusher, 4.49. Absolute freak of nature. All right, I did Aaron Donald a favor. Now let me support my quarterback. I need another tight end that can play in line, catch touchdowns in the red zone. Last, please, I'm begging you, please, can I take Darnell? Please.
Yeah, but we just got rid of Jalen Ramsey, and we're going to want to bring somebody in that can be better, or not. I mean, not better, but hopefully fill those big shoes. And I think we should stick with defense, which is why I would lean towards Ringo.
If we go Keely Ringo over Darnell Washington, then you better understand that I'm going offense and later on in this draft.
That's fair. But hey, let's not completely undersell the man of the hour from Miami, the tight end that we just got in this Jalen Ramsey trade. So
yeah, I know you don't want to undersell
Ringo and
Hunter Long. We do have another year. I mean, we got Bryson Hopkins, Hunter Long, and Tyler Higbee on the depth chart right now, which is another tight end that. It's an extra one. We didn't have that one last year. We had to bring back Kendall Blanton at one point last year because Higbee went down. Hopkins was suspended for he was doing something that was some kind of banned substance. That's another reason why I would like to take a tight end, because I feel like 2 of 3 are fully invested in the franchise. Maybe I'm wrong there, but I think we go Keely Ringo. Good?
Yeah, good.
Keely Ringo is our pick, number 69. All right. So this is assuming we didn't make the trade. So we just have one more pick here. So we didn't take a tight end. I really like Tucker Kraft. We already took our edge rusher, 3 tech. So I would go Tucker Kraft here, Les.
I mean, I
also love Jalen Hyatt because he's a wide receiver and I'm Sean McVay and I can't help myself.
I think the wide receiver position is one of our deepest in the depth chart.
And it's the most expensive.
Yeah, I think if you want to bring back the tight end argument about how we may cut Higbee or trade him or something happens with him, I think Tucker Kraft would be a nice friend of Matthew Stafford in a potential red zone and a potential, run game fix. So the pick is in.
The pick is in. Tucker Kraft has been selected with the 77th pick in the 3rd round. Now we're down to the 5th round. This is where it gets really interesting. You can go DTR at quarterback. You can go Stenson Bennett. I actually like Mekhi Blackman from USC. You go Israel Abidakanda, who the Rams met with from Pittsburgh. I don't know. I think I'd go running back here. We went defense with our first 2 picks. I really like Abikanda. I think he could be Abidakanda. I think he could be one of our better players for the next 3-4 years. Nick, what do you say?
Oh, Sean. Yeah, think about the big picture here. When was the last time, we had a running back that was amazing? And I know the answer, okay? Because I was here too. I was here before you. I actually brought him into the building, and you're the one that wanted to shove him out. That being said, I'm not against it at this point because I'm Les Snead, and I also love offensive weapons. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Let's say we go running back. Cam's on the last year of his rookie deal next year too. And then what do you got? You got Ronnie Rivers. You got Kyron Williams. Who's next?
Jake Funk just cut, and
Jake Funk, I think, played for the Chargers last year at the end of the year, didn't he?
Did he?
He went elsewhere. I know that for sure. I feel like this is going to kill me. Who did he go play for if it wasn't the Chargers? I don't know. You got to look it up. I'm taking Abidakanda
right now. Current team, Indianapolis Colts.
Ugh, nasty. All right. So we're sitting in the 5th round. We have pick 177. This is where it gets really, really difficult. So Nick, we haven't chosen our backup quarterback yet. Stenson Bennett's still sitting there. He's absolutely not who I'd want to take.
Good thing we didn't get him.
Yeah, this is where it gets difficult. We haven't taken a center yet. We could probably prioritize guard. We could probably prioritize maybe a tackle, maybe somebody that falls here. Like right now, I would really love somebody like Andrew Voorhees from USC if he fell. He was already taken. So I'm going to see who else we could take.
You're out on Dorian?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I wouldn't take him this high though. That's for sure.
If we committed to selling off-season quarterback pickups like Trubisky's of the world, which I don't know if we have, but let's just say that we have. I think now is a good time to look at that position. And yeah, if O'Connell, Aiden O'Connell is still around next round, hopefully that could be, our guy that we can develop. But he might be gone by the time we have another pick.
Right. So that's what I'm looking at. So we go Rams are not going to go 2 guards with their top 5 picks, right? Mm-mm. So I think in this situation,
center as well, yeah.
Maybe we go interior defensive lineman. I like Dejuan Johnson. I believe he's on our big board. I believe the Rams have met with him recently. I could be wrong. I feel like his name looks familiar.
I don't have him on our board.
You don't have him on our board? No Dejuan Johnson?
No.
I feel like his name looks familiar. What if we went let's see who else we could take here. I'm going to go I think I'd go Jay Ward as a corner. I think we give I'm not sure about Darion Kendrick. I'm not sure about Robert Rochelle. I think we need some help just with more bring more competition at that position. I think we just need it there.
Yeah.
What do you think? Would you go with Jay Ward?
I'm in for that. I say I can lock that in feeling happy. Let's see if our boy is still there. Yeah. No, I don't think he is.
Who you're looking for, Aiden?
Yeah.
He's here.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You're going to go O'Connell?
I think that's the right call.
All right. We're going O'Connell. I would agree.
Les Snead making moves for his team.
We went O'Connell. All right, now this is where it gets difficult. We've gotten our running back, right? We drafted a quarterback. We drafted another corner. We drafted another interior defensive lineman. I don't think we did. We didn't draft Dejuan, but he's probably still there. We could probably take him.
Is he really still there?
He's still there. We could take him. I also like Ryan Haynes as a tackle. We probably get him a little bit later. I'm going to go interior defensive lineman, and to me, he looks like he's the best available. You good with that, Les?
Yeah, I like that.
Unless you want to go with another edge rusher. Have we taken one of those yet?
I thought we did.
Maybe. All right. Who are we going with here?
I don't know. The names are moving so fast.
Who are we going with? Oh, we're
Did we
taking
take
Dejuan.
Princeton?
There we go. Dejuan Johnson from Toledo.
Okay, Dejuan. Welcome to LA, brother.
Welcome to LA. I say we go MJ Anderson here. Think we need another edge rusher, unless you want to go Lonnie Phelps. I like Lonnie Phelps. I think he's fallen to us. I think that might be a good pick.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Lonnie Phelps?
Why don't we check on Harrison Mevis?
Let's see. Where's Harrison Mevis? Where's he at? Did he just get picked?
Did he already?
No, I don't think so. Where's he?
Probably not. We have him going very, very late.
Where's Harry?
He's a kicker.
Where's Harry at? I also want to look at Hunter Lupique. I don't see Harry on here. But Lupique is at the bottom. We'll take him late.
Okay.
What do we need here now still?
I mean, it would probably be early, but I did see Bobo available. We haven't gotten a receiver.
He's a little early.
Yeah.
But we haven't taken a receiver yet. Well, we go Ronnie Bell from Michigan.
All right, Ronnie.
You in for that?
Yeah.
Ronnie Bell from Michigan.
I like Michigan. I like teams. I like people. I think they're coached well if they're coming out of Michigan.
This might be my worst draft that I've done so far. You want to go Bobo here? 223?
I think it's probably my fault. Yeah. Let's go Bobo.
No, it's not your fault. This is so difficult to do on the spot. And then we're going, we already take our quarterback of the future? We did.
Yeah, we did.
We took Aiden. All right, let's see if there's a
I'm
kicker.
not against grabbing another one, though, and having a little battle in camp. Not all these guys are going to make it.
You want to go Jake Moody, kicker?
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm also on the phone with the kicker from St. Louis who drilled another clutch one in the first overtime loss or a win ever in XFL history.
Oh, tough sledding down.
We got a B.
Yeah, we got a B. Tough sledding though down after round 5. Yeah, Jay Ward, a little bit of an overdraft. Aiden O'Connell, Dejuan Johnson, Lonnie Phelps, Ronnie Bell, Jake Bobo, and Jake.
Yeah, but look at the top half, which is really those are going to be the impactful guys. So I'm happy with like 1 through 5.
Yeah, I am too. And I think that's where they need to focus. Because if you could hit on 3 guys at the top and then you could hit on 1 or 2 guys at the bottom, that to me rounds out, your 4 or 5 players that you feel like you could bring into the building. But just for reference, there's Jake Bobo at the bottom. This other mock we had Jaron Hall in round 6, who I really liked. So Braden McDaniels, another tackle from Utah, was a really good grade late that I would love for more tackle depth. So I think work in progress. Big board's going to continuously be updated. We'd probably do another mock draft at some point. But, live mock. That's what we got for you.
This has nothing to do with the board, but I want to give a shout out to my buddy Jacob sending me these Rams Super Bowl pins.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I got 2 of them, so I'll keep one and I'll bring it home to you. But yeah, thanks, Jacob. I think
Jake sent me one too. So special shout out to Jake. Make sure you check him out. Let me see if I can call out his Twitter name.
Yeah. And while you do that, I will tell people about the beautiful Bet Online. Live betting, free contests, giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports and events, whether that's NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, or even golf. Head to betonline.ag, receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit, and use our promo code BLEAV to receive your rewards. Bet Online, that's where the game starts.
Make sure to follow at Prominent Kings. Prominent Kings with a Z. That's J. His name is _J_D. For reference, he's selling great pins. Look him up. Give him a follow. He's a big Rams fan.
Prominent Kings. Thanks for the pins, brother.
Thank you guys for listening. More where this came from. We'll have more mocks. Big board will be updated. All things draft. 17 days leading into the draft. Ready to go? Ready to rebuild.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. We're still on Jersey Watch. It's going to be great.
Thanks for listening, guys. Go Rams. Peace.
Peace.